Dr. Alex Carter stared at the glowing screen in his lab on Luna Research Station. The numbers looked impossible, but they were real. After 15 years of work, his team had finally done it. They had built a machine that could make spaceships travel faster than light without using the alien jump gates. The lab was quiet except for the soft humming of computers. Alex rubbed his tired eyes and looked around at his team. Dr. Lisa Hayes was checking her calculations for the 100th time. She was the smartest physicist he knew, and if she said the math worked, then it worked. Dr. Kevin Nash was running final tests on the quantum field generator. His hands moved quickly over the control panels as green lights blinked on one by one. "Are we really going to do this?" asked Dr. Susan Clark from her station near the back wall. She had been worried about the project from the start. "What if something goes wrong? What if we break something we can't fix?" Alex understood her fear. The Galactic Council had controlled space travel for thousands of years. Every ship in the galaxy used their hyperspace beacons to jump between stars. It was safe, reliable, and completely under alien control. Humans had to pay huge fees and follow strict rules just to travel to nearby systems. But Alex's team had found a different way. They called it the quantum fold drive. Instead of using the Council's hyperspace tunnels, their machine would fold space itself. It would create a shortcut by bending reality, allowing a ship to step from one place to another in seconds instead of days. Captain Jake Morrison walked into the lab wearing his flight suit. He was a test pilot from the Earth Defense Force, brave enough to try anything once. His ship, the New Frontier, waited in the station's main hangar. It was a small vessel, barely big enough for one person, but it carried the most advanced technology humans had ever built. "So, Doc, are we making history today?" Jake asked with a grin. He always smiled before dangerous missions. It was his way of staying calm. "The math says it will work," Lisa replied, but her voice sounded worried. "The quantum field generator will create a bubble around your ship. When you activate the fold drive, space will bend around you. You should appear near Proxima Centauri in about 4 hours." "Should?" Jake raised an eyebrow. "That doesn't sound very sure." "Nothing is sure when you're doing something for the first time," Alex said. "But we've run every test we can think of. The computer simulations all work perfectly. Your ship has enough power for the jump and enough fuel to get home if something goes wrong." Kevin looked up from his control panel. "All systems are green. The quantum field generator is running at perfect levels. The fold drive is ready for activation." Jake nodded and headed toward the hangar. The team followed him, walking through the station's white corridors. Luna Research Station was built inside an old mining facility deep under the moon's surface. It was the perfect place for secret experiments. The thick rock walls blocked most scanning attempts from alien ships in the area. The hangar was huge, carved out of solid rock. The New Frontier sat in the center under bright lights. It looked like a normal Earth spaceship from the outside, but hidden inside its hull was the quantum fold drive. The device was about the size of a car, filled with exotic materials that had taken years to create. "Remember," Alex said as Jake climbed into the pilot's seat, "if anything feels wrong, abort the jump immediately. We can always try again later. Don't worry about me, Doc. I've flown through asteroid fields and solar storms. How hard can bending space be?" Jake sealed his helmet and started the ship's engines. The team moved to the observation deck behind thick protective glass. Alex watched as the New Frontier lifted off and flew toward the hangar's exit. The ship disappeared into space, heading away from the moon toward empty space where the first test would happen. "Fold drive activation in 60 seconds. Jake's voice crackled through the radio. "All systems look good up here." Lisa stared at her instruments. "Quantum field is building normally. Energy levels are exactly where they should be." 30 seconds, Jake announced. "I can see Earth from here, pretty blue marble, just like always." Alex held his breath. Years of work came down to this moment. Either they would make the greatest breakthrough in human history, or they would lose a good friend and pilot. 10 seconds. Here we go, people. Time to see if humans can really fold space. The sensors showed a massive energy spike. Space around the New Frontier began to shimmer like heat waves rising from hot pavement. Reality itself bent and twisted as the quantum field reached full power. "Activating fold drive now," Jake shouted. A bright flash filled the screens. When the light faded, the new frontier was gone. Not destroyed, not moved to a different location nearby, but completely vanished from local space. "Did it work?" Susan asked quietly. Lisa checked her long-range sensors. "I'm not detecting the ship anywhere in the solar system. Either it worked perfectly or..." She didn't finish the sentence. 4 hours passed like 4 days. Alex paced back and forth in the lab while his team monitored every frequency for any sign of Jake's ship. Space around Proxima Centauri was too far away for their equipment to scan directly. They would have to wait and hope. Finally, the radio crackled to life. "Luna Base, this is New Frontier. You're not going to believe this." Alex grabbed the microphone. "Jake, are you okay? Did it work?" "Did it work?" "Doc, I'm sitting in orbit around Proxima Centauri right now. The trip took exactly 4 hours and 12 minutes. I can see the red dwarf star right outside my window. This thing actually folded space." The lab erupted in cheers. Kevin pumped his fist in the air while Susan hugged Lisa. They had done the impossible. Humans could now travel between stars without using alien technology. But their celebration was cut short when Lisa noticed something strange on her sensors. "Alex, you need to look at this. The space where Jake jumped from. It's not normal anymore." Alex studied the readings. Where the new frontier had activated its fold drive, space itself looked different. There was a small distortion, like a scar in reality. It was healing slowly, but it was definitely there. "What does that mean?" Kevin asked. Lisa frowned at her screen. "I don't know yet. But our jump didn't just bend space. It damaged it somehow, and that damage is taking time to fix itself." Alex stared at the readings. They had achieved their dream of free space travel, but they might have broken something important in the process. Something told him that scar in space was going to cause problems they couldn't imagine yet. 3 weeks had passed since Jake Morrison made the first successful quantum fold jump. Word of the breakthrough spread quickly through the human colonies, even though the project was supposed to be secret. Scientists on Mars wanted to build their own fold drives. The asteroid miners were asking when they could get the new technology for their ships. But the aliens noticed too. Commander Ryan Brooks was preparing for the 5th test flight when the first warning came from Earth Defense Command. Long-range monitoring stations had detected alien ships moving toward human space. The Zephyrian Empire's scout vessels were positioned just outside the solar system, watching and waiting. "They know something is different," Alex told his team during their morning briefing. "Our quantum signatures are probably showing up on their sensors." Lisa had been studying the space distortions left behind by each test jump. What she found made her lose sleep at night. The scars in space weren't healing properly. Instead of disappearing completely, they left behind tiny cracks. In reality itself, these cracks were invisible to normal sensors, but they changed how space behaved in small ways. "Each jump makes the damage worse," she explained to Alex while showing him her latest data. "The cracks connect to each other somehow. It's like we're building a web of broken space around our solar system." Ryan Brooks didn't care about theoretical physics. He was a pilot who wanted to test the new drive's limits. His ship was called Pioneer's Dream, and it was bigger than Jake's New Frontier. The plan was simple. Jump from Earth to Wolf 359, star system 11 light-years away. The round trip should take less than 9 hours using the fold drive. "All systems are ready for departure," Ryan reported from his cockpit. "Quantum field generator is charging up nicely." Alex watched from Luna Research Station while Kevin monitored the energy levels. The fold drive on Ryan's ship was an improved version, more powerful than the first prototype. It should be able to make longer jumps with greater accuracy. "Remember to follow the exact navigation coordinates," Lisa warned. "With all the space distortions we've created, the math has to be perfect." Ryan's ship lifted off from Earth and headed to the jump coordinates in open space. The fold drive needed room to work safely, away from any planets or space stations that might be damaged by the quantum field. "Beginning fold sequence now," Ryan announced. "Energy building to full power." The familiar shimmer appeared around. Pioneer's Dream as space began to bend. The quantum field reached critical levels and reality folded in on itself. With a bright flash, the ship vanished from Earth's solar system. But something went wrong. Instead of arriving in empty space near Wolf 359, Pioneer's dream materialized inside the star's outer atmosphere. Ryan found himself flying through plasma hot enough to melt his ship's hull. Emergency alarms screamed as his heat shields began to fail. "This is Pioneer's dream. Emergency situation. I'm inside the star." Ryan's panicked voice barely made it through the interference. Alex grabbed the radio. "Ryan, get out of there. Full power to engines." The pilot didn't need to be told twice. He fired every engine and thruster his ship had, fighting to escape the stellar corona before his vessel was destroyed. The outer layers of Wolf 359 were thin compared to the star's core, but they were still hot enough to kill him in minutes. Pioneer's dream burst free of the star's atmosphere with its hull glowing red-hot. Ryan was alive, but his ship was badly damaged. Worse, he was 11 light-years from home with a fold drive that obviously couldn't be trusted. "What happened?" Alex asked, when Ryan's ship finally returned to Earth 3 days later using conventional engines. "The navigation computer should have put you in empty space." Lisa had been analyzing the jump data during Ryan's long trip home. What she found terrified her. The space distortions affected his jump coordinates. The damaged areas around our solar system changed how the fold drive calculated distances and directions. Kevin stared at the readings. "You mean the more we use this technology, the more dangerous it becomes?" "Exactly. Each jump damages space, and that damage makes future jumps less accurate. We're creating a growing zone of unreliable space around Earth." The implications hit Alex like a physical blow. The quantum fold drive wasn't just a new way to travel. It was a weapon against reality itself. Every time they used it, they made space a little more dangerous for everyone. Meanwhile, on the Karathi monitoring station at the edge of human space, aliens were seeing things that made no sense. Space-time was flickering around Earth's solar system. Their sensors detected massive gravitational anomalies that appeared and disappeared without warning. Admiral Threx of the Karathi Syndicate studied the reports with growing alarm. In his 200 years of service, he had never seen anything like the readings from human space. The newcomers weren't just building new technology, they were breaking the fundamental laws of physics. "Send an emergency message to the Galactic Council," he ordered his communications officer. "Tell them the humans have developed some kind of space-time weapon. The damage signatures are unlike anything in our databases." The message traveled through the hyperspace beacon network, reaching the council chambers on Nexus Prime within hours. Representatives from dozens of alien species read the report with shock and growing fear. The Etherian Collective's ambassador was the first to speak. "If these readings are accurate, the humans are damaging the fabric of space itself. This could affect hyperspace travel throughout the region. The damage appears to be spreading," added the Valerian Federation's delegate. "Our scientists estimate that if left unchecked, the distortions could encompass several star systems within a year." Back on Earth, Alex's team was reaching the same conclusions. Lisa's latest calculation showed that the quantum fold network was growing exponentially. Each new jump didn't just create its own damage, it strengthened the existing cracks and made them reach further into space. "We have to stop all testing immediately," Alex told Earth Defense Command during an emergency conference call. "This technology is too dangerous to use." But it was already too late. The damage was done and it was spreading. Space around Earth was becoming fundamentally unstable, and the aliens had noticed. Ships from a dozen different species were gathering at the edges of human territory, all of them armed and ready for war. Dr. Susan Clark had been right to worry from the beginning. They had broken something they couldn't fix, and now the entire galaxy was preparing to stop them before they broke anything else. The quantum fold drive had given humanity the stars, but it might have cost them their future among them. Ambassador Helen White received the message while having breakfast on Earth's orbital diplomatic station. The holographic seal of the Galactic Council appeared above her table, glowing with official authority. She set down her coffee and activated the communication with trembling fingers. The face that appeared belonged to High Counselor Vex. an ancient being whose species had been exploring space when humans still lived in caves. His voice carried the weight of 1,000,000 years of galactic law. Humanity has violated the fundamental accords of spacetime integrity, he declared without any greeting. Your experimental technology is damaging the fabric of reality itself. This aggression will not be tolerated. Helen felt her heart sink. She had been Earth's ambassador to the galaxy for 5 years, working hard to build good relationships with alien species. Now all that work was falling apart because of some scientists on the moon. "Hi, Counselor. I'm sure we can discuss this situation calmly," she began. But Vex cut her off with a raised hand. "The time for discussion has passed. You have exactly 72 Earth hours to cease all quantum fold experiments and surrender your technology for Council oversight. Any refusal will result in immediate military action against your species." The transmission ended, leaving Helen alone with the most serious threat humanity had ever faced. She immediately called an emergency meeting with President Linda Martinez and the Earth Defense Council. On Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council's homeworld, representatives from across the galaxy were gathering for an unprecedented emergency session. The Great Chamber was filled with beings of every shape and size, all united in their fear of humanity's dangerous technology. The Karathi Syndicate's Admiral Threx presented his evidence first. Holographic displays showed the space-time damage around Earth's solar system. The distortions looked like cracks in a piece of glass spreading outward from humanity's territory. "These readings represent catastrophic damage to local space," Threx explained to the assembled delegates. "If this technology spreads, it could make hyperspace travel impossible throughout this entire spiral arm of the galaxy." The Valerian Federation's representative stood next, her elegant features twisted with concern. "My people have monitored 17 separate incidents of space-time folding around the human system. Each incident created permanent scarring in reality itself. Even the normally peaceful Etherian collective was demanding action. Their ambassador, a being of pure energy contained in a crystal shell, spoke with unusual anger. The humans developed this technology in complete isolation, ignoring thousands of years of established safety protocols. They are like children playing with antimatter." High Counselor Vex listened to each speaker before making his judgment. The Council had faced many threats over the millennia, but nothing quite like this. Most dangerous technologies could be contained or controlled, but the humans had found a way to damage the basic structure of the universe itself. "The human species will comply with our demands," Vex declared, "or they will be removed from the galaxy permanently. We cannot allow their reckless experimentation to endanger billions of innocent lives." On Earth, President Martinez was meeting with her military advisors in the secure bunker beneath Geneva. The holographic displays showed alien warships gathering at the edge of human space. The fleet was enormous, representing the combined might of dozens of species. General Paul Anderson, commander of Earth's defense forces, studied the alien formations with professional concern. "We're looking at over 300 vessels, including at least 12 Dreadnought-class battleships. Our entire fleet numbers less than 50 ships. What are our chances if it comes to a fight?" President Martinez asked. "Honestly, we'd be wiped out in the first hour," General Anderson replied grimly. "Their technology is thousands of years ahead of ours. The only reason we've survived this long is because they've been treating us like harmless primitives." Captain Steve Adams was commanding the defense vessel Liberty's Edge at the outer edge of the solar system. His ship was one of humanity's most advanced warships, but it looked like a toy compared to the massive alien dreadnought that had taken position near Jupiter. The alien ship was called Void Render, and it was over 2 kilometers long. Its hull was covered with weapon systems that could probably destroy entire planets. Steve had read the intelligence reports about Karathi military technology. Their ships could fire beams of pure energy that traveled faster than light. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the alien fleet," reported Lieutenant Mary Foster from the communications station. Steve nodded grimly. "Put it through." The face that appeared on the main screen belonged to Admiral Threx himself. The PB Karathi commander looked like a cross between a lizard and a shark, with rows of sharp teeth and cold yellow eyes. Human vessel, you are ordered to withdraw beyond the orbit of your outermost planet. This system is now under Galactic Council jurisdiction until your species complies with our demands. Steve had been in the military for 15 years, and he had never backed down from a fight. But he also wasn't stupid. His ship carried enough firepower to level a small city, but it wouldn't even scratch the alien dreadnought's shields. "Admiral, I'm following orders from my government to defend this system," Steve replied carefully. "I hope we can resolve this situation peacefully." Threx showed his teeth in what might have been a smile. "Your government has 3 days to surrender their space-folding technology. If they refuse, we will demonstrate why the Galactic Council has maintained order for 1,000,000 years." Back on Luna Research Station, Alex and his team watched the alien fleet with growing despair. Their breakthrough technology had turned into humanity's worst nightmare. The quantum fold drive was supposed to free humans from alien control, not start a war they couldn't possibly win. Lisa was still studying the space-time damage, trying to understand what they had done wrong. "The problem is that we never understood what we were actually affecting," she explained to Alex. "We thought we were just bending space, but we were really damaging something much more fundamental." Dr. Kevin Nash looked up from his computer terminal. "I've been analyzing the hyperspace beacon network that the aliens use. Their technology is completely different from ours. Instead of folding space, they create stable tunnels through a parallel dimension." "So their method is safer?" Alex asked. "Much safer, but also much slower and more expensive. The beacons themselves probably cost more than our entire research program." Alex stared out the observation window at the stars. Somewhere out there, alien fleets were preparing to destroy everything humanity had built. The quantum fold drive was their greatest achievement and their greatest mistake. President Martinez made her decision after consulting with every human leader on Earth and the colonies. The message she sent to Ambassador White was simple and direct. "Tell the Galactic Council that humanity appreciates their concerns about our technology. We are willing to discuss safety measures and restrictions, but we will not surrender our independence or our right to explore the universe." Helen White delivered the message to High Counselor Vex with a heavy heart. She knew what the response would be before he even spoke. "Then your species has chosen extinction over wisdom," the ancient alien replied. "We will give you one final day to reconsider. After that, the Galactic Council will do what it must to protect the universe from human recklessness." The ultimatum was clear. Humanity had 24 hours to surrender their greatest technological achievement, or face annihilation by the combined might of galactic civilization. War was coming, and there was nothing anyone could do to stop it. The standoff began at exactly noon, Earth Standard Time. Admiral Threx positioned his massive fleet just beyond Pluto's orbit, while human ships formed defensive lines around the inner planets. Both sides knew that the first shot fired would start a war that could only end with humanity's complete destruction. Captain Steve Adams had not slept in 36 hours. His ship, Liberty's Edge, was part of the outer defense line facing the alien dreadnoughts. Through his bridge windows he could see the enemy vessels hanging in space like deadly metal mountains. Their hulls gleamed with weapon systems that had conquered 1,000 worlds. "Sir, long-range scanners are detecting more alien ships arriving every hour," reported Lieutenant Mary Foster. "The latest count is over 400 vessels, including some types we've never seen before." Steve nodded grimly. The aliens weren't taking any chances. They had brought enough firepower to destroy every planet in the solar system if necessary. The message was clear: surrender the quantum fold technology, or watch human civilization burn. On Earth, President Martinez was holding emergency sessions with world leaders around the clock. The military situation was hopeless, but the political situation was even worse. Half the governments wanted to surrender immediately, while the other half refused to give up humanity's only advantage over the aliens. "We can't fight them," argued Prime Minister Chen from the Asian Federation. "Their technology is thousands of years ahead of ours. We should negotiate while we still can." "If we surrender now, we'll be slaves forever," countered President Johnson from the American Republic. The quantum fold drive is our ticket to freedom. Without it, we're just another primitive species under alien control. Ambassador Helen White was trying to keep diplomatic channels open, but the aliens were not interested in compromise. High Counselor Vex's demands were simple and non-negotiable: complete surrender of all quantum fold technology and submission to permanent council oversight. Meanwhile, Dr. Lisa Hayes was making a discovery that would change everything. Working around the clock in her lab on Luna Research Station, Lisa had been studying the space-time damage with increasingly sophisticated equipment. What she found defied all her expectations about how the universe worked. "Alex, you need to see this," she called excitedly, her voice echoing through the empty corridors. Most of the station's staff had been evacuated when the alien fleet arrived, but the core research team had stayed behind to continue their work. Alex Carter rushed to Lisa's workstation, where holographic displays showed the quantum fold network in stunning detail. The damage wasn't random after all. The tiers in space-time were forming patterns connecting to each other across vast distances like a three-dimensional spider web. "It's not destruction," Lisa explained breathlessly. "It's construction. The quantum fold drive isn't just damaging space, it's building something." Dr. Kevin Nash joined them, studying the data with amazement. "These connection patterns, they're similar to neural networks, like the folds are creating some kind of artificial nervous system in space itself." "But what's the purpose?" Alex asked. Lisa's hands flew over her controls, bringing up new displays. "I think the network is trying to stabilize itself. Each new fold strengthens the existing connections and reduces overall stress on space-time. We're not breaking the universe. We're giving it a new kind of structure." The implications were staggering. If Lisa was right, the quantum fold technology wasn't a weapon at all. It was an evolution, a new way for space-time to organize itself, that would ultimately make faster-than-light travel safer and more efficient than ever before. But the aliens didn't know that. They only saw the initial damage and assumed the worst. Captain Jake Morrison volunteered for one final test flight to prove Lisa's theory. His ship, New Frontier, was the most experienced quantum fold vessel, having made dozens of successful jumps. If anyone could navigate the evolving network safely, it was Jake. "The math says it should work," Lisa told him as he prepared for launch. "The network has had time to stabilize since our early experiments. The connections should actually make navigation more accurate, not less." Jake grinned with his usual confidence. "Only one way to find out, Doc. If this works, maybe we can show the aliens that we're not the monsters they think we are." The jump coordinates were set for Alpha Centauri, humanity's nearest stellar neighbor. It was a relatively short hop, but it would take Jake through the heart of the quantum fold network where the space-time modifications were strongest. Admiral Threx watched the human test ship with growing suspicion. His sensors detected the familiar energy buildup that preceded a quantum fold jump. Despite all the Council's warnings and threats, the humans were still experimenting with their dangerous technology. "All ships, raise shields and prepare for possible space-time disruption," he ordered his fleet. "The humans are about to demonstrate why their technology is so dangerous." New Frontier activated its quantum fold drive right on schedule. Space around the small ship began to shimmer and bend as the exotic energy fields reached critical levels. But this time, something was different. Instead of the violent tearing that had characterized early jumps, the fold formed smoothly and naturally. The ship didn't disappear in a flash of disruptive energy. It simply stepped sideways through a neat doorway in space-time that sealed itself perfectly behind it. Jake's voice came through the communication system with excitement and relief. "Luna Base, this is New Frontier reporting from Alpha Centauri." The jump was perfect, smoother than anything we've experienced before. The network is working exactly as Lisa predicted. But the good news was overshadowed by a terrible discovery. Jake's jump had taken him directly through a region of space claimed by the Valerian Federation. His sudden appearance triggered their automated defense systems, and now Valerian warships were converging on his position. "This is Jake Morrison aboard New Frontier," he broadcast on all frequencies. "I am an unarmed human research vessel conducting peaceful experiments. I mean no harm to anyone. The lead Valerian ship responded with suspicious demands. "Human vessel, you have violated our territorial space using forbidden technology. Surrender immediately for interrogation." Jake found himself caught between the advancing Valerian fleet and his duty to return home with proof that the quantum fold network was safe. He had two choices: surrender to the aliens and probably disappear forever, or risk another jump through the network while being hunted by alien warships. He chose to run. The second quantum fold jump took Jake directly back to Earth's solar system, but his arrival caused panic on both sides. The human defenders thought he was being pursued by enemy ships, while the alien blockade fleet assumed he was attacking them with some new weapon. Admiral Threx made the decision that would determine humanity's fate, convinced that the humans had just demonstrated a combat application of their space-folding technology. He gave the order his crews had been waiting for. "All ships, commence attack. The humans have refused our final warning." The largest space battle in human history began with a single beam of energy from the Karathi dreadnought Void Render. The beam struck an asteroid near Mars, vaporizing it completely in a demonstration of alien firepower. Captain Steve Adams watched the display of destructive force and knew that humanity was about to face its darkest hour. The alien fleet was moving forward, weapons charging for a full assault on the inner system. But Jake Morrison's successful navigation through the quantum fold network had proven something important. The technology wasn't a threat to the galaxy. It was a gift that could revolutionize space travel for everyone. The question was whether anyone would live long enough to explain that to the aliens who were about to destroy human civilization. The first alien weapons fired at 1432 Earth Standard Time, lighting up space with beams of pure destruction. Admiral Threx's dreadnought led the attack, its massive cannons targeting the human defense platforms around Mars. The ancient weapons could destroy small moons, and they made humanity's defenses look like toys. But Dr. Alex Carter had one last desperate idea. "We have to show them the truth about the quantum fold network," he told President Martinez over the emergency communication channel. "If we can prove that our technology actually helps space travel instead of hurting it, maybe they'll stop the attack." President Martinez was coordinating the defense from her bunker in Geneva. "How can we prove anything when they're trying to kill us all?" "Give me permission to make one more jump," Alex replied. "Not with a small test ship this time. I'll take the fold drive data directly to the Galactic Council on Nexus Prime, face to face with evidence they can verify themselves." The plan was insane. Nexus Prime was the most heavily defended world in the galaxy, located thousands of light years from Earth. No human ship had ever attempted such a long quantum fold jump, and doing it in the middle of a battle made it even more dangerous. But President Martinez was out of options. Human ships were already taking heavy damage from the alien attack. Earth's orbital defense platforms were being destroyed one by weapons that could crack planets. "Do it," she ordered. "Take whatever ship you need and go. It's our only chance." Alex chose Captain Jake Morrison's ship, New Frontier, because it had the most experience with the quantum fold network. Jake volunteered to pilot the mission, even though they would probably be vaporized the moment they appeared in Council space. Dr. Lisa Hayes worked frantically to calculate the jump coordinates for Nexus Prime. The quantum fold network had grown and stabilized since their early experiments, but a jump across the galaxy would test its limits. "The math looks good," she reported, though her voice shook with exhaustion and fear. "The network connection should be strong enough to handle the distance. But Alex, you need to understand. If I'm wrong about how this technology works, you'll be torn apart at the quantum level." Alex was already climbing into the co-pilot seat of New Frontier. "If we don't try, humanity dies today anyway. At least this way, we go down fighting." The small ship launched from Luna Research Station while the battle raged around Earth. Alien energy beams crisscrossed space, turning human vessels into clouds of glowing debris. The defense was brave but hopeless. Humanity's most advanced warships couldn't even scratch the shields of the alien dreadnoughts. Captain Steve Adams watched New Frontier disappear into the quantum fold network just as his own ship, Liberty's Edge, took a direct hit from a Valerian destroyer. His bridge filled with smoke and sparks as critical systems failed. Hull breach on Deck 7, reported Lieutenant Mary Foster, blood running down her face from a head wound. Life support is failing. Steve looked at the tactical display showing dozens of human ships dying around him. All remaining vessels, this is Liberty's Edge. Fall back to Earth's orbit. We'll make our last stand there. Meanwhile, New Frontier was traveling through the quantum fold network on a journey no human had ever attempted. Space around the small ship bent and twisted in ways that hurt to look at. Jake kept his eyes on his instruments while Alex monitored the fold drive systems. Energy levels are holding steady, Alex reported. The network connections are stronger than we expected. It's like the universe is helping us make this jump. I hope you're right, Doc, because we're about to find out. If the Council's homeworld has automated defenses that shoot first and ask questions later. The jump took 6 hours, far longer than any previous quantum fold. When New Frontier finally emerged from the network, Jake and Alex found themselves in orbit around a blue-green world that sparkled with millions of lights. Nexus Prime was the most beautiful planet either of them had ever seen. It was also surrounded by enough firepower to destroy entire star systems. Hundreds of alien warships detected the human vessel's arrival immediately. Weapons that could shatter moons swiveled to target the tiny ship that had somehow crossed the galaxy in hours instead of months. This is Dr. Alex Carter of the human species. Alex broadcast on all frequencies before the aliens could fire. I have critical information about our quantum fold technology that the Galactic Council needs to hear. I request an immediate audience with High Counselor Vex. The response came from Admiral Corgan of the Nexus Defense Fleet, whose species looked like walking crystals. Human vessel, you have violated the most secure space in the galaxy using forbidden technology. Prepare to be destroyed. Wait! Alex shouted desperately. Your scientists need to analyze our quantum fold data before you make any decisions. What you think is dangerous technology is actually the greatest breakthrough in galactic history. There was a long pause while the alien commanders consulted with their superiors. Finally, Admiral Corgan spoke again. You have exactly 10 minutes to present your evidence to the Council emergency session. Any deception will result in the immediate destruction of your species. New Frontier was escorted to Nexus Prime's capital city by a squadron of Council warships. The city was enormous, covering half a continent with towers that reached into the clouds. The Galactic Council chamber was at its heart, a massive dome where representatives from thousands of species made decisions that affected the entire galaxy. Alex walked into the chamber carrying a portable holographic projector containing all of humanity's quantum fold research. The assembled aliens stared at him with hostility and fear. Many of them had species that remembered the last time someone tried to change the fundamental nature of space travel. High Counselor Vex gestured for Alex to begin. Speak quickly, human. While you waste time here, your species is being eliminated, for the safety of all life in this galaxy. Alex activated his projector, filling the chamber with three-dimensional displays of the quantum fold network. The data showed how the seemingly random damage was actually creating a stable structure that made space travel faster and safer. Honorable counselors, our technology doesn't break space-time. It evolves it. The network we've created will eventually span the galaxy, reducing travel times by hundreds of times while eliminating the need for hyperspace beacons. The Etherian Collective's representative, a being of pure energy, examined the data with growing excitement. These readings, if they're accurate, this network could revolutionize galactic civilization. Travel between the rim and the core would take hours instead of months. Dr. Yaren of the Karathi Science Institute studied the quantum fold mathematics with professional interest. The theoretical foundation appears sound, but how do we know this network won't collapse catastrophically? Alex had prepared for this question. Because it's based on the same principles your own ancestors used to build the hyperspace beacon network. We found references to early experiments in the databases you shared with us. The first beacon builders faced exactly the same problems. We did. High Counselor Vex's ancient eyes widened with surprise. You accessed the Forbidden Archives? Those records were sealed for good reason. The records showed us how to stabilize our network using controlled quantum resonance patterns. Every new jump strengthens the overall structure instead of weakening it. We're not destroying space-time. We're giving it a better way to organize itself. The chamber erupted in debate as alien scientists and politicians argued about humanity's claims. Some species demanded immediate verification of the data. Others insisted that the human experiments be stopped regardless of their potential benefits. While the council argued, the battle for Earth was reaching its climax. Human ships were falling back to their final defensive line around the moon. Admiral Threx's fleet had overwhelmed the outer defenses and was preparing for the assault on Earth itself. Captain Steve Adams was barely conscious on the bridge of his crippled ship when the miracle happened. High Counselor Vex's voice came through on all frequencies, broadcasting to both human and alien forces. All vessels, cease fire immediately. The Galactic Council is issuing an emergency stay of execution. The human technology requires further investigation before any final decisions are made. The shooting stopped as suddenly as it had begun. Alien warships powered down their weapons, while human survivors tried to understand what had just happened. The battle was over, but no one knew who had won. On Nexus Prime, Alex was presenting the final piece of evidence to the Council. We propose a joint development program. Human quantum fold technology combined with your hyperspace beacon network could create a transportation system that serves the entire galaxy. We're not asking to replace your technology. We want to improve it. The vote was closer than expected, but pragmatism won in the end. The potential benefits of the quantum fold network were too great to ignore, and humanity's willingness to share their breakthrough freely impressed even their harshest critics. 3 months later, Dr. Alex Carter stood on the Bridge of Harmony, the first joint human-alien starship. The vessel combined the best of both technologies: quantum fold drives for long-distance jumps and hyperspace beacons for precision navigation.